didn't know what it meant. She was a little old grandma who thought that I was too skinny, so she would force me to eat. Like, she'd literally bring in stuffed cabbage and potatoes. That's all they eat, by the way, cabbage and potatoes and bread. And she would just sit down and stare at me until I finished eating, and then would just walk away and not say a word. At one point, she spanked me because I had the fan on and the window open at the same time, and apparently they believed that will kill you, and I got sick the next day, but I just, manned up and hit it, because I wasn't going to let her win, you know. She was an adventure. I learned the two most important phrases which saved my ass. They were, "I love dogs," and "please don't hit me." And I had to use both of them a lot. They were like little old babushkas. They looked like 60 years old, but they would walk around at the hours of 3 a.m. and you'd never see them any other time. But they had these big empty boxes that were full of sticks and leaves and cigarette butts. Everybody smokes there constantly. And they would chase you with the boxes, lifting them. And personally, I never got caught, so I don't know what happens when they reach you with the box, but I'm curious, so if anybody goes to Romania, let me know. The cigarette packs, by the way. Sorry, I'm really nervous to start on this. I just didn't want the party to end, and I really like to talk, and you guys gave me a microphone, which is why I love you guys, because you give me microphones, and it's great. Yeah, the cigarette pack. So they're not allowed to show throat cancer or mouth cancer and all that nasty goodness that tries to keep people from smoking. So what they do instead is they go for the emotional gut punch, which is they show babies asphyxiating in the hospital and mothers crying over children that have passed out in the street and husbands trying to crawl away after they've smoked too much. And it just everywhere. I'm just sitting there trying to buy my pack of little cheap 50-cent gummies and it hits me with it. Everybody smokes regardless. The Mormons got mad at me because I drank a glass of wine in a Thai restaurant in London. We were in a pub. What did the Mormons expect of me? I told them I was going to drink the wine, and then they all shunned me for the rest of the trip, which means the only person I had to talk to was, Babushka, the old lady, and then she stopped talking to me because I bought myself a little teapot, and she made fun of me for it. I don't know what she was saying, but she yelled at me for having the teapot. It was weird. Anyways, I'm up here to read a little spoken word poetry. I'm terrified because it's a tiny crowd, and the smaller the crowd, the bigger the stage fright, because it's such a personal embarrassment when I screw up. Because apparently I'm just a couple plums short of a fruit pie tonight, because I went up to the on deck super early, and then I had to do the walk of shame back, and then the walk of shame back again. And I like to think that I live a pretty shameless life, because nothing's bit me in the ass yet, so I'm going to keep living with both cheeks out until something catches up, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, here's a little poem. I wrote this for Comic-Con a year ago, the one in Medford that's happening that keeps growing. It's getting really fun. I'm really proud of them. This is when it was basically just inside the library, and it was a sci-fi and fantasy poem and story reading, and there were 6 people in there, and it was nothing but furry fan fiction. From start to finish, furry fan fiction, and I was the odd one out, and I felt embarrassed for being myself in there, which wild. And a lot of YouTuber fan fiction too, but they were turned into furries, and exclusively furries. It was fantasy though, so they fit within the parameters. So yeah, I wrote this little esoteric ditty 10 minutes beforehand because I got really excited, and it's about what I would think would happen if aliens came into our atmosphere and were like, "Yo dog, what's up?" And we'd become terrified, "Oh shit, they're actually out there," and immediately nuke them. Because us humans have a nice history of doing that. And then the immediate regret that comes with realizing that you've set off a nuke in the atmosphere, and also what's possibly the only other intelligent life is now laying in debris, and you're it's spooky. It's spooky. Let's do this. With winter fire came summer frost, spattering earth and the dire consequence of war lost. To the people was the reason for their suffering. Consciousness caught twixt rage and the hovering doubt that dripped like plasma jest loose. The noose tightened and the fight dragged beyond the point of no return. We churned out each soldier and gave them encouraging lies disguising moldering morals meant to drive us just past extinction. Through our human distinction, we found pride. Xenophobic propaganda propagating the will to choose both fight and flight. The cosmic night we called savior, scarring the stars, as she claimed with crimson threads leaking into the atmosphere and pulverizing the opposition. Crosshairs locked onto their position and triggers made for an itch that can't be scratched without a fury latched to the little green men. Those that bury their dead in the vacuum of space, erased from existence but embraced in history as the true saviors of mankind, lined with good intentions and quick tempers, tempered with fear, the rearing head of regret, roaring as the peaceful bits and pieces of our first encounter rained around us. Humanity is solitary, locked behind doors we built to keep ourselves safe from our own expectations. Our final frontier, a delegation of malignant misrepresentation, an accidental act of war, a nuclear solution to a problem of imagination, sprung from the stagnation of our own civilization, a nation of first strikes without second chances. Chances are we won't survive this winter, and death with dignity dignifies the mistakes we made in defensive assumptions, satisfying our desire to destroy what we don't understand. A standing ovation displayed before the tragic realization that we've chosen to be alone. And then we hang out alone in the universe for a little while, and then our rock crumbles. Future! Thank you. That's what I got for you guys. I'm terrified. My knees hurt because I'm really nervous, and that happens when I'm nervous.